Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night virtual workshop. We're going to hold off for a few minutes just to let a couple people get online. I know there was a bunch of you ready and excited to talk about the immune system. When you jump on, leave a comment. Let us know that you're here. This is going to be a short, powerful workshop. We're going to talk about how strong you are, how strong your immune system is, how you were innately designed to fight infections, illnesses, disease process. The natural state of the body is to be healthy and well. And we're going to talk about all that tonight and some action steps that you can take during this time of uncertainty where your routines are not normal or not the routines that you had developed before. So we're going to go over a lot of good stuff tonight. Okay, awesome. Let's get started. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the owner of Inspire Family Chiropractic. My name is Dr. Christine, and we are going to talk about the immune system tonight because I think it's very, very important for you to know exactly how your body works, exactly how God designed you innately with a defense system that fights viruses, bacteria, pathogens, infections, parasites. You were designed with an innate immune system. And the purpose of tonight is to really equip you with the knowledge and understanding of how strong you actually are and what do you do to work with the body's natural processes of defense versus working against the body's natural processes of defense. So this is all about resistance, not just to COVID-19, but to all pathogens, all infections. This is about building up a nice, strong, healthy body so those infections don't overwhelm us. The whole purpose is for us to work on the immune system together. And it's because I want to empower you to live a long, healthy life through the 5 essentials. Success leaves us clues, and health leaves us clues. The basis of any healthy body is someone that's grounded in the 5 essentials. We're going to touch on each essential tonight and how to specifically support your own immune system through the 5 essentials. But I want you to be empowered knowing that you can do something about your health, knowing that you are responsible for your health, which means you determine the outcome, which means the action steps that you take on a daily basis play a larger role, not just in your health, but also in your immune system than your genetics do. So specifically, we know that COVID-19 is everywhere. It's a virus. COVID viruses have been around for a long time. I learned about them back in chiropractic school. These are viruses like the cold virus. This is a newer strain that we are seeing, but similar to the flu virus. There can be different strains of viruses, but COVID viruses is something that's been around since the 80s. It's not something new at all. I don't want to touch on exactly what it is. What I want to touch on is how you can be very strong and healthy and have a strong immune system to defend yourself against not just COVID viruses, but all viruses, bacteria, infections, and parasites, because you have a lot that you can do to defend yourself against these invaders. That's where I want to talk more about tonight, not just talking specifically about viruses. All right. We're going to go over prevention and resistance tonight because you are designed innately with an immune system. So we're going to talk about how it works, what it does, and how you feed your immune system and give it the raw materials it needs to work at its highest capacity. I think all of us want that. We want optimal function of our body. We were designed and giving these building blocks of health. It's very important to work with them if you want a good, healthy outcome. All right. You have a natural immune response that's divided up into 3 different levels. I think I could explain this for hours, but I found a really good short video for you guys that's really important for you to watch. And I want you to pay specific attention. This is only the part of the immune system, the videos that is going to talk about is for bacteria infections and foreign bacteria. But I want you to take notice of how many cells, how large and how influential your immune system is in your body. When you know more about how your body works, you know how to influence it in a positive direction and keep it strong. So we're going to go over that short video and then get back rolling on some action steps on how to support this amazing immune system that God designed you with. All right, let's get this video up.
We ignore so many players and all the chemistry. Every second of your life, you are under attack. Billions of bacteria, viruses, and fungi are trying to make you their home. So our bodies have developed a super complex little army with guards, soldiers, intelligence, weapons factories, and communicators to protect you from, well, dying. For this video, let's assume the immune system has 12 different jobs. For example, kill enemies, communicate, etc. And it has 21 different cells and 2 protein forces. These cells have up to 4 different jobs. Let's assign them. Here are the interactions. Now, let's make this understandable. First of all, let's add colors to the jobs. Now, let's illustrate the cells. The central color represents the main job of the cell, while the surrounding ones represent secondary duties. Now, the immune system looks like this. Now, the interactions. Isn't this complexity just awesome? For this video, we will only talk about these cells and ignore the rest. So, what happens in the case of an infection? It's a beautiful day when suddenly a wild rusty nail appears and you cut yourself. The first barrier of the immune system is breached, your skin. Nearby bacteria seize on the opportunity and enter your wound. They start using up the body's resources and double their numbers about every 20 minutes. At first, they fly under the radar, but when a certain bacteria population is reached, they change their behavior and start to damage the body by changing the environment around them. The immune system has to stop them as fast as possible. First of all, your guard cells, known as macrophages, intervene. They are huge cells that guard every border region of the body. Most of the time, they alone can suffocate an attack because they can devour up to 100 intruders each. They swallow the intruder whole and trap it inside a membrane. Then the enemy gets broken down by enzymes and is killed. On top of that, they cause inflammation by ordering the blood vessels to release water into the battlefield, so fighting becomes easier. You notice this as a very mild swelling. When the macrophages fight for too long, they call in heavy backup by releasing messenger proteins that communicate location and urgency. Neutrophils leave their patrol routes in the blood and move to the battlefield. The neutrophils fight so furiously that they kill healthy cells in the process. On top of that, they generate barriers that trap and kill the bacteria. They are indeed so deadly that they evolved to commit suicide after 5 days to prevent them from causing too much damage. If this is not enough to stop the invasion, the brain of the immune system kicks in. The dendritic cell gets active. It reacts to the signals of the soldiers and starts collecting samples from the enemies. They rip them into pieces and present the parts on their outer layer. Now, the dendritic cell makes a crucial decision. Should they call for antivirus forces that eradicate infected body cells or an army of bacteria killers? In this case, antibacteria forces are necessary. It then travels to the closest lymph node in about a day. Here, billions of helper and killer T cells are waiting to be activated. When T cells are born, they go through a difficult and complicated training process, and only a quarter survives. The surviving cells are equipped with a specific setup. And the dendritic cell is on its way looking for a helper T cell with a setup that's just right. It's looking for a helper T cell that can bind to the parts of the intruders which the dendritic cell has presented on its membrane. When it finally finds one, the chain reaction takes place. The helper T cell is activated. It quickly duplicates thousands of times. Some become memory T cells that stay in the lymph node and will make you practically immune against this enemy. Some travel to the field of battle to help out. And the third group goes on to travel to the center of the lymph node to activate a very powerful weapons factory. Like the T cells, they're born with a specific setup. And when a B cell and a T cell with the same setup meet, hell breaks loose. The B cell duplicates rapidly and starts producing millions of little weapons. They work so hard that they would literally die from exhaustion very fast. Here, helper T cells play another important role. They stimulate the hard-working factories and tell them, "Don't die yet, we still need you. Keep going." This also ensures that the factories die if the infection is over, so the body doesn't waste energy or hurt itself. But what is produced by the B cells? You've heard of them, of course, antibodies. Little proteins that are engineered to bind to the surface of the specific intruder. There are even different kinds of antibodies that have slightly different jobs. The helper T cells tell the plasma cells which type is needed the most in this particular invasion. Millions of them flood the blood and saturate the body. Meanwhile, at the site of infection, the situation is getting dire. The intruders have multiplied in number and start hurting the body. Guard and attack cells fight hard, but also die in the process. Helper T cells support them by ordering them to be more aggressive and to stay alive longer. But without help, they can't overwhelm the bacteria. But now the second line of defense arrives. Billions of antibodies flood the battlefield and disable lots of the intruders, rendering them helpless or killing them in the process. They also stun the bacteria and make them an easy target. Their back is built to connect to killer cells, so they can connect and kill the enemy more easily. Macrophages are especially good at gnoming up the bacteria which antibodies have attached to. Now, the balance shifts. In a team effort, the infection is wiped out. At this point, millions of body cells have already died. No big deal, the losses are quickly replenished. Most immune cells are now useless, and without the constant signals, they commit suicide, so as not to waste any resources. But some stay behind, the memory cells. If this enemy is encountered ever again in the future, they will be ready for it and probably kill it before you even notice. This was a very, very simplified explanation of parts of the immune system at work. Can you imagine how complex this system is? Even at this level, when we ignore so many players and all the chemistry. Life is awfully complicated, but if we take the time to understand it, we always encounter endless wonders and great beauty.
All right. I just think that's a really good, simplified, short way to explain just a piece of the immune system. You've got thousands and millions of little cells that take care of these types of infections, that take care of bacteria and viruses. You were created with this incredible immune system. It's important to know how it works and what you have just resting within you and how to work with it. So just to go back here, let's see. Okay. Most of your immune system resides in your gut. This is why I'm so concerned when you have low back pain issues, when you have digestive system issues, when you have IBS, when you have Crohn's disease, because it's not just about that disease process. It's about the tissue that's wearing out or not functioning properly also houses part of your immune system. So when we look at the immune system and how it's connected to your gut, 70% of it is in your intestinal lining, which means that most of your intestines are lined with really, really healthy bacteria. So I want to make it very clear, you're never going to be able to sanitize and get rid of all bacteria and viruses around you. There are millions and billions of these guys everywhere that you go, every surface that you touch. You're not going to be able to get rid of germs, and we need germs to be healthy. So you need bacteria. You work with bacteria. That's why you have what's called a microbiome, or you have a collection of different types of bacteria that literally sit on your intestinal layer. That's part of your immune system. Those bacteria work with you, they benefit you, and they protect you. So not only do you have a microbiome that's sitting in your digestive system, you have a virome as well. Part of coming in contact with bacteria, coming in contact with viruses is the very important point that those bacteria and those viruses help you and help your immune system. So I know that right now it's mainstream to be afraid of viruses, to be afraid of bacteria, but you need them. You need to come in contact with them. And coming in contact with certain bacteria and viruses and disease processes, like when you're young and have infections, actually turn your immune system genes on and off. So your virome affects what kind of genes are turned on and off. The amount of viruses and bacteria that you come in contact with through your life turn your genes on and off and help you develop a stronger immune system to fight stronger disease processes. You need these little guys in your life. They're very good for you. It's why people take probiotics. Your gut and your digestive system is lined with bacteria. You have more bacteria in your digestive system than you do cells in your body. And those guys protect you. They fight for you, and they fight against dangerous bacteria. So you have this symbiotic, amazing relationship with bacteria in your life and also viruses. These guys work together with us. They live kind of within us. Not to be gross, but they help you. And it's very important to not wipe yourself clean of these really good bacteria and really good viruses that help us throughout our lives. So if you want a healthy immune system, number one, you start with a healthy gut. And a healthy gut is determined through chiropractic care. It's determined through the nutrition that you are eating, and it's determined with the bacterial complex that you have inside of your gut. So when you are born and you pass through the birth canal, you're inoculated with lots of bacteria, and that bacteria ends up in your gut to help your digestive system and to also help your immune system. So that is number one. If you were not born through birth canal, you were born through C-section, you were giving yourself a disadvantage in your immune system because you didn't get inoculated with really good bacteria and immune system health from your mom. So I'm going to go through kind of how to build a strong gut, how to build a strong immune system. And there may be some of you that need to supplement with probiotics because you did not get the proper inoculation of bacteria in your gut, and your immune system suffers because of it, because your gut isn't as healthy as it should be. So all of this ties together. You've got to realize that you're not a sum of different parts. All these parts work together in unison. We look at the body very mechanistically. We have a doctor for every single area of the body. Think about it. You have your neurologist for the brain and the spinal cord. You have your nephrologist for your kidneys. You have your ear, nose, and throat doctor. You have all these different kinds of doctors for different parts of your body. You're not just different parts. You are one collective person that works together. And the doctor that knows the best about what you need is the doctor that's already inside of you. Those millions of cells, literally just in your immune system alone, are the greatest doctor in the world. And then a doctor that's going to look at you holistically and as a whole person, how your systems work together, is going to be a max living doctor that's going to train you in how to help these systems work together and work the best for you and work optimally for you. Okay, when you get a symptom, so if we were talking about the immune system, it's a misnomer that your immune system is not working when you get sick. Your immune system is working when you get sick. I don't even like to say that I'm sick. You are just expressing symptoms or expressing health. Our natural instinct, unfortunately, in this country, is what we do is when we get the sniffles or we get a sneeze or we get a cough, is we want to suppress that symptom. So when you get a cough or you get a fever or you start to sneeze a lot, the first thing that you run to typically in this country is cough suppressants, Tylenol to lower your fever, or something to comfort you and get rid of those symptoms. You have to start realizing that those symptoms, the cough, the fever, the congestion, the sneezing, that is not the problem. That's your immune system working properly. So here's what happens. You start to get some kind of symptom related to your body coming in contact with a virus, a bacteria, a different pathogen. And your body, what it's doing is it's working to kill or get rid of that bacteria, virus, or pathogen. So here's what you're doing. There's a fire raging inside of your body. The firefighters are coming to help. They're coming to fight the fire. The firefighters in your body right now, when you have a fever, when you have a cough, when you have the sniffles, when you have snot, Those are all firefighters. Those are all your body's processes working properly to get rid of that pathogen or whatever is in your body that doesn't need to be in there. That's your body working right. So essentially, if you start to cough or you get a fever, that is your body working to kill the pathogen. So what you tend to do, or what we do in this country, is we come in and we take a fever lowering drug or we take a cough suppressant. So essentially, you're going in and there's a bunch of firefighters fighting the fire, and you're removing the firefighters one by one and letting that fire continue to blaze. That's not the recipe for success. That means that you're going to be sick longer. It means that you're going to express symptoms longer. It means that your immune system is never going to work to its full capacity. So pretty much this is what's going to happen. If your immune system never gets challenged and worked, you're going to get sicker faster. You're going to stay sick longer. It's pretty much expecting yourself, if you've never worked out a day in your life, you have not done one bench press, and you walk into the gym and you want to bench press 100 pounds and you've never bench pressed 10. It doesn't make any sense. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because we all view our health and manage our health in this in this way, typically in this country, and it's making us sicker than ever. So this is your body's process of getting well. Fever, cough, sniffles, that's your body's process of getting well. The worst thing that you can do is suppress your symptom or take something for your symptom. Stop suppressing it. No more cough suppressants, no more Tylenol, no more Advil. You're working against your body's natural defense. When you do that, you're working against your immune system. You're going in and plucking out the firefighters. You have to understand, when you have a fever, that's your body's natural process of heating up the temperature of the body to kill bacteria and to kill viruses, because they can't survive in hot environments. So if your fever starts to rise, you are completely destroying your body's natural defense and preventing that pathogen from taking over. You're doing the wrong thing by suppressing the fever. Now, I don't even have a thermometer in my house, because really my body is not going to overheat me. If it does overheat me, what will happen is you'll get like a febrile seizure, and your body's temperature will reset. But part of your immune system doesn't even get activated until your temperature hits 104. So when you've got a bad pathogen in your body and your body is trying to get rid of it, your temperature is going to go up. It's going to hit 104. And then all of a sudden there's this new level of the immune system and new level of cellular activity that gets activated because of the temperature. If you never hit that temperature, your body's natural defense mechanisms will never kick in, and you will never have a strong immune system. And you will be sicker longer. It's the wrong way to do your health. Coughing is good. It brings up the mucus out. It gets it out of the lungs. It gets it out of the respiratory tract. So think about this logically. If you've got crud stuck in your lungs, of course your body is going to cough it up. That's the good thing. And you never want to suppress the actions of the body. You want to work with the immune system. So this first part here is about all the things we pretty much do wrong and we need to stop suppressing. And then how we feed those good reactions is going to be part two. If you have questions, you can just put them in the comments, and I will get to them one by one. Most likely I'll answer them throughout the presentation. We touched on fevers a little bit, but this is very, very important for you to recognize. Fever is the best thing for your body. You do not want to suppress a fever. That is the wrong action. It's just important for you to stay hydrated during a fever. This is your body's process to develop memory against a pathogen. When you get a fever, your body produces interferon, and then it develops memory. So the amazing part about your immune system is that once you've gone through a bacteria or a virus or a pathogen, it develops natural memory to it. So it remembers that virus, and then when you may come in contact with it again, it knows exactly how to fight it very quickly, and likely you won't experience any symptoms. You won't even know that you've come in contact with that bacteria or virus because your body fights it so quickly. This doesn't happen unless you let your body's natural defense mechanisms work. Like I said before, if you don't get up to 104, you're missing a whole level of the immune system. Fevers are an effective sign. It's a sign of an effective immune system. The rise in your temperature makes your body less favorable to invading germs because they cannot survive in a hot environment. And the body will not think about this. You're born with an incredible intelligence. Your heart beats without you having to think about it. You digest your food without having to think about it. Your body will not let that fever rise most of the time to a dangerous level. It'll do it enough to where it needs it, and then the bacteria, the pathogen will be fought, and your fever will break and it will come down. If you never let those processes work, you're not going to be able to get through any kind of sickness. I want to touch on this for a bit. There's a lot of things that we do on a daily basis that have to do with stress that suppress your immune system. When you suppress your immune system and your immune system is not functioning at its higher level, that's when you start to express symptoms. That's when you start to have issues. That's when you start to have problems in your body. So we need to know what we're doing on a daily basis that's shutting down our immune system if we want to have a very strong immune system, a consistently strong immune system. There's a few stressors that I in particular want to talk to you about. All right. This is probably going to be my favorite part to talk about with this whole talk. So stressors are agents that produce stress in the body. And I want you to remember that emotional stress suppresses your immune system. When you are undergoing a lot of stress and you're watching the news all the time, and the only thing that's sinking into your brain right now is a lot of fear based on a virus that's going around, what it's doing is it's driving your nervous system into sympathetic dominance. And I talk about this a lot with my patients in my practice because this is very important. If you're feeding yourself negative thoughts and you're stuck in a fear cycle and you feel anxious all the time, your body's programming is going to lean towards sympathetic dominance, which means that your nervous system thinks that you are in a emergency situation where you need to run and get away from the situation, like a bear attack. This is an inborn response that your body has. If you are under a lot of emotional stress, you need to pour things into your spirit that are not fear-based because you're affecting your immune system. You need to shut off the news and start to read positive books, start praying, start meditating. That flips the switch from sympathetic dominance. This is also why you get adjusted, because when you get adjusted, you flip the nervous system from sympathetic dominance that burns out your organs, takes your nutrients then from your digestive system and nutrients from your cells and your organs, and it puts it into your extremities because it thinks that you want to fight and run. When you get adjusted, it pulls you out of sympathetic dominance. So the number one thing you can do right now to change your immune system within the 5 essentials, we're talking mindset here, is to stop pouring in fear-based thoughts. Fear alone causes 1,400 different chemicals in your body to change. It activates 30 different hormones. You're getting a physiologic response because of something that you're watching on a daily basis. Stop pouring fear into your life. This is very important right now because you're surrounded by fear. All right. Again, in my office, what I do is I promote a healthy lifestyle through the 5 essentials. And you have them here. The foundation is core chiropractic, nutrition, mindset, oxygen, and toxins. So I want to go over action steps within each individual pillar of health, but it's not just about one, it's about doing all of these in your life. All of these 5 essentials create health in your life. And I want to be very clear, you are not healthy if you are missing one of these in your life. Like if you are not exercising or you're not dealing with your stressors or your mindset, you are not healthy, you're not functioning optimally. You need to be moving and getting better in all of these essentials. This is about a lifestyle change, because the truth is, God doesn't make junk. You were made with this innate intelligence that took you from 2 cells all the way to 70 trillion, that develops an immune system that digests your food, that recreates new cells and tissues because you're constantly in repair. Your body is more like a fountain than it is stone. It's constantly renewing. It's constantly breaking down old cells and creating new cells. The way to get healthy new cells is through the 5 essentials. If you are lacking in exercise, that's a problem. If you're pouring toxins into your body, that's a problem. If you're deficient in nutrients, that's a problem. Your body is not going to function well. If you have central nervous system stress or stress on your spinal cord, your brain, and your brainstem, your body is not going to function well. So now that you understand how the immune system works and how to fight infections and prevent disease, I want to go over practical immune boosting tips within these for the rest of the time that we are together. Again, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to put these in the comments below. Okay, let's talk about nutritional changes. We are only going to talk about one nutritional change because it's the biggest one that has to do with your immune system. When you eat too much sugar, it puts your immune cells into a coma. They literally go to sleep. Sugar also feeds viruses and it feeds bacteria. So what you want to do is, if the main source of nutrients of bacteria and of viruses is sugar, you should get rid of sugar so it stops feeding the bad bacteria and bad viruses. It also puts your immune system into a coma, so those cells stop working and then bad cells can take over. So the number one thing nutritionally that you do is you cut out sugar. And I don't just mean like cookies and candy. I mean the chips that you're eating that's all based in sugar, the bread that you are eating. Right now, if I walked into a Whole Foods or a grocery store, there's plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables on the shelves. What's missing off the shelves is bread, it's pasta, it's muffins, it's comfort food that we've been trained to think is okay to eat all the time. It's not okay to eat all the time. It's suppressing your immune system. So you need to cut the sugar out of your diet. And what you're going to replace sugar with is nutrient-dense fats. When you eat a higher fat diet, you aren't creating an environment for bad bacteria and bad viruses and bad pathogens to thrive. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to make a nice, lovely home for these bad bacteria and viruses. We want to create a structure and a healthy body that does not comfort bacteria and viruses, that does not provide an environment where they thrive. I talk about this a lot. If you have a goldfish in a in a tank, and there's it's gross and it's disgusting, the goldfish is not going to thrive. Disease process thrives in there, and the goldfish doesn't need a medication to thrive. What the goldfish needs is for you to clean the tank. The tank needs to be healthy. A healthy tank doesn't provide an environment for bacteria and viruses to thrive. So if you get sick all the time, and you're afraid of getting sick all the time, it's because you've created an internal environment that doesn't support health in your body. What it does is it supports disease process, and therefore disease process is living and thriving. The best thing that you can do is develop your resilience. So you want to eat lots of really good, healthy fat. That's wild caught fish. That's wild caught salmon. That's going to be wild caught game, pasture raised eggs, avocados, cruciferous vegetables. All of these foods are nutrient dense and feed your immune system, making sure it's high and it doesn't put your immune system into a coma. If you are eating too much bread, like you wake up and you have toast, and then in the middle of the day you have a bowl of pasta, and then for your dinner you have a hamburger with a bun, or you have regular potatoes, like all of that is all sugar and carbohydrate based, and you're feeding bacteria and viruses exactly what they want to eat to thrive. We don't want to do that. It's very important that when you start to change over your nutrition, the first thing that you're going to do is really focus on increasing healthy fats and making sure that you're eating lots of raw vegetables. After years of testing blood tests, one of the most common things that I see is people that overcook their meats and overcook their foods. And what you're doing is you're burning the foods and you're killing all the nutrients. So making sure that you're eating raw vegetables, you're eating raw nuts and seeds and not over-processed, overcooked foods is very important. All those raw nutrients and enzymes, they work to help your body. And I talk about this with my patients in the office. This is a similar to keto diet, the Max Living Advanced Plan. It's just nutrient dense fat based. You're not tracking your carbohydrates with this, but you want to have a lot of coconut oil. You want to, which is naturally antiviral and antibacterial. Coconut oil is phenomenal. If you're doing fruits, because fruit is sugar, you want to make sure that you are eating fruits that are not raising your blood sugar as fast. So that's berries, Granny Smith apples, which contain a lot of vitamin C, which is a great nutrient for the immune system. Also contains a lot of zinc. So you want to make sure that, yeah, okay, you are going to eat some fruit during this time, but you're not binging on high sugar fruits that give you a low nutrient intake like bananas, mangoes. You want to stay with berries. You want to stay with Granny Smith green apples. You want to stay with, we're going to talk a little bit about citrus fruits. Honey is still sugar. So if you're worried about your immune system, watch your honey intake. It's still sugar, still breaks down into sugar. All right. Sorry, I'm flipping back and forth between things on my end so y'all can get all the information that you need. Our go-to for vitamin C is typically orange and orange juice. If you're drinking straight orange juice, that's way too much sugar. It's way too much sugar. You can get, you're basically shooting glucose and sugar right into your veins by drinking a glass of orange juice. That's not going to help you. That's not going to serve you. You can get vitamin C in many other citrus fruits, lemons, limes that have a lower sugar load to them. So please be careful if you're going to do orange juice. Just eat regular orange so it comes with fiber, especially during this time. You don't want anything working against you. You want everything working for you. I want to talk a little bit about elderberry because I think it's really popular right now. Elderberry is great for your immune system. It's an immune system booster. It helps support your immune system. However, I want you to be careful because if you buy elderberry syrup, it is going to be made with excuse me, it is going to be made with sugar and syrupy nature. You have to check ingredients of all your elderberry syrups. So if you're getting something with a high sugar content, you realize that you're taking an immune booster and an immune suppressant together, and they're going to cancel themselves out. So you have to be careful with that. You can get like supplements from Whole Foods that work a little bit better that are not syrup. That's elderberry. That's very good for boosting your immune system. If you're concerned and you have lower immunity at this time, you should be doing everything to support your body's immune system, which means you should be taking all of these nutrients if you're not getting them regularly from your diet. So if you are a person that's not eating raw cruciferous vegetables, you are not eating raw fruits, guess what? You're probably deficient in vitamin C, and vitamin C is a catalyst of your immune system working. So if you're not getting it from your diet, you have to supplement somewhere because you're deficient in the nutrient that your body needs to work properly. Okay, elderberry. Second is garlic. A lot of this you're just going to have at home. Garlic is naturally antibacterial and antiviral. The best thing to do is to cut it up and toss it in a lot of your meals. Cook with it at this time. These are things that you can use when you don't feel well. When you are expressing symptoms, you want to use things that are from the earth that were designed with these antiviral, antibacterial properties already because they were designed for you in mind, to help support your immune system, but not wipe it clean of doing its job. So making sure you're having a lot of fresh garlic right now. The best thing to do, honestly, because I know sometimes you struggle to cook with it or to have it raw, is to make your own salad dressing, and make your own healing salad dressing. So this is really good. Mixing apple cider vinegar, fresh garlic, turmeric, salt, pepper with a really good avocado or olive oil, you're going to get yourself a really good healing dressing that supports your immune system. And you can do all of this raw. So making sure you're getting a really good raw apple cider vinegar, really good raw garlic that's organic. All of that is going to be healing for your gut and healing for your body, and it's going to help support your immune system. So you want to be eating immune supporting foods right now. That includes garlic elderberry, citrus fruits. Now, like I just said, if you are not, you know that you are not getting the proper nutrients, or you know that you're somewhat immunocompromised, like you have not been born through the birth canal, so you were born C-section, didn't have a proper immune system inoculation then at birth, so you're behind the curve. If you have taken antibiotics at all through your life, you've wiped your immune system and your bacteria clean in your body, you're likely you have a depressed immune system from that. So if you've taken lots of medications, you've taken birth control, all medications impact your immune system, and you're lowering your immune system through that. So if you've done that through your life, you've taken a lot of birth control, you've taken medications long-term, you've taken antibiotics, you need more immune system support because you wrecked your immune system and trashed your gut lining through doing that. So it's time to get back into health swing and get back into supporting your immune system through nutrients. I'm going to walk through a couple of these. And then in the comments, if you need vitamin C, vitamin D, a probiotic, or any of these right now, because you know that you need nutrients to support your immune system, you can click on the link and have it sent to your house. Because you are not spending a lot of time outdoors, this is very important. You need vitamin D for your immune system to work properly. If you are not getting outside in the sunlight and you're not supporting your immune system through vitamin D, you need to supplement with it. If you have not been outside in a long time and you know that you're probably pretty deficient in vitamin D, 90% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D according to blood testing. You need to start with 10,000 IUs of vitamin D every single day for 2 weeks, and then you can drop it down to 5,000. When you are deficient in the nutrients that are sitting on this slide right here, vitamin D, vitamin C, and probiotics, you have an immune system that doesn't work optimally. So if I need, if I open up and I'm trying to build something and I'm missing the parts to build a shelf, or I'm missing the parts to build a cabinet, it doesn't work properly. It doesn't function properly. If you are missing the building blocks to your immune system, it's not going to function properly, leaving you susceptible for disease process. It's not that you got hit with the germ stick. It's not that you got, I got hit in the face with a virus and it took over my body. You didn't have a proper immune function at the time. So you need to work on all of these. I have them for you at the office. If you are not coming to not in like range of our office, you're not in Charlotte, there's a link to help you purchase these. Make sure you have them so you can have them in your stock when you're feeling well and just want to keep your immune system high, or maybe when you are expressing some symptoms, or when you don't feel well. I have all of these in my cabinet, and I don't have a medicine cabinet. I have a nutrient cabinet. I have a supplement cabinet. There's no such thing as a medicine cabinet in my house. I don't have one because my body is the best medicine. My body's defense systems are the best medicine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with them. The really, really good thing that I'm seeing come out about the coronavirus is that they're starting to IV supplement with vitamin C, and they're seeing those patients recover really quickly. It's not that vitamin C is killing the virus. Vitamin C is the raw material for your body to properly express immune function, and your body knows how to fight viruses. So patients are recovering faster when they're using vitamin C. That's phenomenal. That's working with the body's natural defense mechanisms, which is the way to get health instead of working against it. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Toxins in your body, what they do is they disrupt normal function. They disrupt your immune system from working properly. Toxins in the form of pesticides. So if you're not eating organic foods right now, toxins in the form of medications that you've had. Medications are toxic. You can't take the whole bottle at once. Should everyone be taking a probiotic? That's a great question. If you have a gut problem, yes. If you have a digestive system problem, yes. If you have not been properly inoculated from birth, like you were born C-section, then yes, you should take a probiotic for a good time to rebuild your gut lining. I don't think you should be on a probiotic every day for the rest of your life, but if you're going through an immune system protocol and to boost your immune system and you want a really strong immune system during the season, Yes. And it should be something with multiple strains, and it should be a very, very high probiotic count because you have lots of bacteria in your digestive system. If you have taken antibiotics, yes, you should be on a probiotic. Yeah, for quite some time after antibiotics. They really wipe your system clean. So if you've ever had an antibiotic, if you've ever, or you didn't go through birth canal properly, not a proper birth process for whatever reason, yes, you should be taking a probiotic. You should go through really a 3 to 9 month cycle of probiotics. The goal is to not supplement all this stuff for the rest of your life. It's to get it from really good foods. But if you're not eating sauerkraut on a weekly basis, you're not drinking kombucha on a weekly basis, you're not eating fermented foods, you're not getting those good bacteria. You need to supplement somehow. My stance, and a lot of my practice members know this, is always food first. Always food first, but some of you are extremely deficient, not getting outside, not eating raw fruits and vegetables. You need to get it from somewhere. You can't ignore it. It's why your immune system is depressed, or you've gone through lots of rounds of medication and you've wrecked your body's natural processes, and now you need to support those processes and go through a healing process to get them back. One thing you can do during this time, and I would recommend it because you're home and relaxed. A lot of us are sitting on the computer and we're snacking all the time with chips and bread and all of these terrible things for our immune system. Go through a fast. Go through you can do 1 day, you can do 3 days, you can do 7 days. Go through some type of fast. Fasting replenishes the immune system. You can water fast, which means you only drink water. And another thing to do for your gut is bone broth, a really good organic, healthy bone broth fast. 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, that helps replenish and support your immune system. This is also part of the reason why you have hot soup when you are expressing symptoms and not feeling well, because it helps your body raise that internal temperature. It helps your body naturally fight these infections by raising the temperature when having hot soup. Just take the noodles out and do a vegetable. Do a chicken broth with vegetables. If you're a vegetarian, do a really good vegetable broth with a lot of good like leafy greens in there. Take the noodles out. Take the carrots out because they're sweet as well. Do lots of onions, do lots of garlic, and make yourself a really good brothy soup and fast with that for a few days. That will build up the strength of your immune system. The other thing that you can do is you can green juice fast. And I want to be really clear on green juice. The green is coming from kale and cruciferous vegetables. So if you do a juice fast, that's also very supportive to your immune system because you're getting all this nutrient density right into your cells without having your digestive system work to break it down. Again, 1, 3, or 7 days is great depending on your tolerance. And then you can throw in a lot of those spices. You can throw in ginger, you can throw turmeric in, you can throw garlic into your juice, and you have this really nutrient dense pack support for your immune system. And you don't want to do a lot of sweet fruits in this. So here's my recommendation. The only fruit that you use in your green juice is going to be Granny Smith apples. Granny Smith apples, and then a key to help take the bitterness out, like if you're doing lots of broccoli, you're doing lots of kale, you're doing lots of really intensely bitter vegetables in your juice, which is phenomenal. The way to counteract that is lemon. It's the best trick in the book. Throw lots of lemon in there. It's going to be supportive and high in vitamin C for your immune system, and it's going to take that bitterness flavor out. And you're going to realize as you do a lot of green juice how sweet things actually are, how sweet vegetables actually are. And it's going to help take your sugar tolerance down instead of it being so high from eating so much sugar all the time. You don't even recognize when things are sweet anymore because your taste buds are so numb to it. So lots of lemon is a great way to get toxins or detox during this time. I feel like I have to say this. Hygiene practices are what helped us fight disease process more than any medication has. Being hygienic is a proper way to live. If you think about this, if there are rats that are always by a dumpster, the solution would be to clean up the environment and make it cleanly, and then the rats won't stay. So if you've got, a bug problem and a rat problem, and those animals, they thrive in dirtiness, We don't want to go in and start to poison rats. We want to remove the environment so they don't even want to be there to begin with. That's through hygienic practices. So part of having a high immune system is just making sure you're washing dirt off of your hands, making sure that it's not so much the antibacterial sanitizers, it's cleaning yourself, and being cleanly is better for your immune system. A lot of those hand sanitizers end up suppressing your immune system, killing off good bacteria, and doing more harm than good in the long run. So you want to just make sure that you're properly washing your hands. Next thing is oxygen and exercise. If you are not exercising, your immune system is depressed. Your body uses oxygen for your immune system to work properly. The way to get oxygen to your cells is to work out and to exercise. If you are not exercising, I don't care really what facet of exercise that you're doing, but you need to get oxygen to your cells in some sort of way for your immune system to work properly. For you to have a great immune system, you need to be exercising. The best is going to be high intensity exercise and short duration bursts. And I want to talk to you about that a little bit because you can do it right from home. It's nice and easy. All right, high intensity exercise actually improves your immune system because it's all about oxygen consumption. So high intensity exercise would be doing bursts of workouts, doing like bursts of exercise in a short time. So doing squats for 20 seconds and taking a break, doing sprinting for 30 seconds and taking a break, doing a high intensity. You go all out for the 20 to 45 to a minute long, and then you take a short break and then bring your oxygen or your breathing levels down. You want your body working. You want to be sweating. This is how your body detoxes. This is how you get oxygen to your cells. Your immune system works on oxygen. And viruses and bacteria, hear me right now, do not thrive in an oxygenated state. So the more oxygen that gets in your body, the better. The more that you're working out, the better. It's very, very important to be working and getting oxygen into your cells because it creates a healthy environment, and then bacteria will not thrive. The reason why I say high intensity exercise is because that's what maximizes your oxygen intake rather than doing like I'm going to get on the treadmill and I'm going to run for 30 minutes straight at a moderate pace. You get more oxygen to your cells if you're doing bursts of intensity rather than one 30-minute steady pace. That's important to remember. That's why doing a yoga flow, it's good for you. It's exercise, but if you're not getting as much oxygen, you're not getting that piece that raises your immune system. High intensity interval training or HIIT training also produces a lot of good growth hormone. It produces testosterone, which depletes as you age. So this helps keep your muscles nice and strong, and it improves your adaptive immune system. And your high intensity exercise also improves your brain function, because what happens is when you're high intensity working out for a small section of time, your mechanoreceptors, or the receptors in your joints, they're firing a lot, which what that means is that those receptors that are firing in your joints when you're doing high intensity exercise, you're doing a sprint, you're doing squats as fast as you can for 20 seconds, you're doing punches as fast as you can for 20 seconds, you're jumping rope as fast as you can for 20 seconds, you're doing burpees for 20 seconds. All of those mechanoreceptors, or these receptors in your joints, are active, which in turn activates your brain, which in turn helps bring you out of that stressed internal state. We talked about sympathetic dominance. Exercise helps bring you out of that if you're doing the right type of exercise. So when you shift out of that sympathetic state because you're doing a high intensity interval training, you're putting yourself in parasympathetic state, which is you're healing and you're resting and you're digesting your food and you're processing your nutrients. That's the state that you want to be in for all the time. You want to be in a parasympathetic state. You don't want to stay in sympathetic state unless you need it, unless you need to run away from a bear. You need that quick burst of intense nutrition to your extremities, your arms and your legs. You don't live there though. When you live there, you get sick because your organs don't get the nutrients that they need because everything is diverted to your extremities. Exercise helps reduce the risk of illness because it flushes bacteria out of the system by raising body temperature. This is how, you can work with your body's immune system, is when you work out, your core body temperature is raised and bad bacteria don't thrive in that. And it helps reduce your stress. Some research even tells us that it increases your white blood cells. So your actual immune cell count, part of your immune system, goes up when you work out. So you want to practice moderate intensity workouts through the week. I would much rather you do high intensity workouts than do long duration, slow, steady pace because you're not getting as much oxygen benefit. You're not getting as much hormone benefit. And remember, we're still specifically targeting the immune system. So high intensity exercise. This is a big announcement. We're going to be doing Max T3, or a high intensity interval training, with you every single week. I know it's tough to get into a routine now at the house because everybody's working from home. So what we're going to do is we're going to work out with you on Tuesdays, 1:30. So you're going to take a lunch break. You're going to get off the computer. We're going to do some spinal exercises with you, and then we're going to do a high intensity, short duration workout. So it'll be less than 15 minutes. You can do it from home, no equipment necessary. Every single Tuesday at 1:30, we're going to do Facebook Live workouts. The big piece right now is, where's your mind at? What are you consuming? Because it's impacting not just your immune system, but your overall health. When it comes to what you are feeding your spirit, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you are in a fear and anxiety state, we've got to work to get you out of that. And this was back at my previous practice in Naples, Florida. We decided to do a little bit of an experiment about how your intentions can influence health and influence cells. So if you can see this, there's 3 different jars of rice there. So it's just regular white rice. What we did is we spoke different kinds of words or didn't speak at all to the rice, and we wanted to see what happened to it. So if you look, there's 3 different piles of rice. This experiment did not last very long inside of the office because the rice started to reek. It was disgusting. I would come into practice and start adjusting patients, and the office would stink because of the rice. The rice started to ferment. And if you notice, each jar looks a little bit different color. This is the same package of rice that we used for the 3 jars. So it didn't take long to see the differences in the jars, and also didn't take long for us to move them from inside the practice to outside the practice. We did this for 30 days. So if you notice the top one, we spoke kind words and kind thoughts to it. So sometimes this wasn't even an actual word said out loud. We would pass by and say kind words to it or think good thoughts to that one specific top rice. You can see that it's not colored. So there's no red in it. There's no change of color. It actually smelt the best out of all of them. So good intentions, good words make physical and biochemical changes with whatever you have. Either it's your own cells or whatever's in front of you, plants, water, living, breathing, rice. The middle, it was the ones that we spoke bad to. So bad words, negative thoughts, fear-based thoughts, worthless thoughts. That was the middle jar. And you can see it's the most disrupted in color. It's the most red. So it's the sickest of all the rice. It smelt the worst. And then the third one we ignored, and you can see like bacterial and fungal growth and like a mauvey color to it. Your thoughts and what you're thinking change your cells. They influence your cells and they influence your immune system. And this proves it. And this is just with rice. So if you are pouring in fear and anxiety and watching just fearfulness everywhere in your news, in your social media, with your friends, this is not serving your health. It's making you unhealthy and it's making you sick, because ultimately stress is what's depressing your immune system. If you're putting yourself in a stressful state, you control what you consume. That's a major point, is you control what you're looking at. You control what you consume. This is really, really important because of how it influences your brain. All right. I think this might be my favorite slide. When we look at plants, this is the big difference between how I see the world and how the rest of the country is working right now. Right now, all of our treatments are based on the germ theory, which is a theory, by the way. It is a theory, which means it's unproven. That the germ is solely what causes sickness. So if you come in contact with a germ, you're going to be sick. That's not true. It's really germ plus host equals outcome. It's not just all about the germ. When a plant is not surviving, what do? You give it water, nutrients, oxygen, and sunlight because it needs those things to survive. You are like a plant seed. You have all the potential to be healthy. That's already inside of you. It's already in your genes. It's whether or not you're watering and taking care of yourself, is whether or not you're going to survive. It's the terrain. It's the environment at which you live in. So you've got a dead plant on one side and you've got a live plant on the other. A bad environment, no sunlight, bad soil, no nutrition, no water produces a dead plant. A really healthy plant, same seed, means that the soil is good, you're watering it, it's getting sunlight, it's getting the things that you need. The 5 essentials is what you as a seed needs. So if you are not doing them, you're going to end up a dead, sick plant. Again, germ plus host equals the outcome. It's not just about the germ. You have tons of bacteria in you right now that might be bad bacteria, but you're not expressing any symptoms because your immune system is keeping them at bay. That is how your body works. It's how you are kept safe. It's the most important piece about this is making sure that you understand this. We have to think differently. It's the host that determines the outcome, not the germ. Be different. Think different. When you change the way that you look at things, things change. Are you focused on getting coronavirus? Are you focused on building health and getting stronger? Are you focused on the death count right now? Or are you focused on life? Are you focused on God's truth or are you focused on man's truth? This is where you need to be. You have all the potential for health inside of you, but you need to feed it instead of fight it. I can't stress this enough for you. Right. This last piece here is about reprogramming your brain. This is the fun stuff. So for a long time, scientists thought that you could not change your brains. You couldn't change your pathways. You couldn't change your habits. Well, guess what? That's not true. That was disproven. You have a neuroplastic brain, which means you can make changes. You can develop new habits. So for the next 30 days in Charlotte, about 28 until we get to the 30th, there's the shelter or stay at home. That's well over the time it takes to build a good habit. It takes 21 days to build a good habit. Your brain is neuroplastic. It can be reprogrammed. Your body regenerates. It can change, but you have to then change your action steps if you want to change your brain. So remember that the big piece of this is in your brain. What makes you human is you have a frontal lobe, which sits right here. It's your personality. It's your reasoning. It's your awareness. It's your judgment. It's your emotional response. It makes you a human being and more than just an animal that lives off of survival instincts. This makes you who you are. It makes you mentally flexible. When you consistently feed fear or bad thoughts into your life, your frontal lobe starts to shrink. So your humanness and your ability to reason and be aware starts to shrink down. You literally get atrophy of your frontal lobe. And what happens is your amygdala, or the part of your brain that's your basic survival instincts, it grows larger. And this will start to feed your anxiety cycle. So as you put fear in, that's going to spin your anxiety cycle and it's going to continue. And then what happens is your amygdala grows larger and it feeds off of fear. So you have this repetitious cycle, like I'm going to get sick with the coronavirus and I'm afraid of getting sick with the coronavirus and I'm seeing the death count rise. Everything that you're feeding your spirit is impacting your brain. And remember, your brain is growing. It's neuroplastic. It can change based on the thought processes that you are thinking and what you're putting into your spirit and your soul. So when you are feeding in fear, you're lowering your frontal lobe. and your ability to be human and reason normally. Another piece of that is that when you get adjusted, guess what part of your brain the activity goes up in? It's your frontal lobe. So as you come to the chiropractor and you get adjusted, not only does your immune system raise with every adjustment, but your frontal lobe is activated. So what makes you learn more? What makes you more aware? What makes you reason better? What makes you have a higher intelligence? That activity of that area of your brain goes up when you get a chiropractic adjustment. And remember, everything is controlled by your central nervous system. Everything is controlled by your brain. The dendritic cells that were spoken about in the video, those are nerve cells. Your brain is very closely controlling your immune system. So as you get chiropractic care and your brain function improves, your immune function improves. This is why you never stop getting adjusted. This is why you continue to go to the chiropractor, because it continues to help get your brain in a higher functioning level, which in turn raises the function of all other systems of your body. You should never stop getting adjusted. After 5 years of adjustments, you have the immune system double that, 200% immune competence than that of an average person. So if you want to talk about being resistant to COVID-19, you do the things that feed your body's ability to fight viruses and bacteria. You get adjusted. You don't eat sugar. You eat the raw materials that your immune system needs to work properly. You shut off the fear-based media and fear-based content and start pouring the truth into your life. You start reading, you start meditating, go read literature, go read a scientific book, do something that's going to pour something good into your spirit, go learn a new activity. That's what's going to raise your immune system. That's what's going to make you resistant to COVID-19. It's the things that you're doing on a daily basis. It's how you're spending your time. That makes you resilient to not just COVID, but really any bacteria or virus or pathogen. It's what you're doing on a daily basis within the core pillars of health. And if you have a chronic symptom, that's your warning sign that you have dysfunction in one or multiple areas of the 5 essentials, one or multiple areas of the pillars of health. Either you have tension and stress on your central nervous system, your brain and your spinal cord, which means you need to go to a chiropractor. You're deficient in nutrients. You've intake too many toxins and they're blocking your body's ability to function and express normal health and function. You're not exercising. You don't have enough oxygen getting into your cells, so they're not working properly, and your muscles aren't growing. Your muscles aren't strong. They're weak. You've somehow lost your way within the 5 essentials, and your body is giving you a warning sign. And just like you don't want to suppress a cough and you don't want to suppress a fever, you don't want to suppress a warning sign. The warning sign isn't the problem. The cough isn't the problem. The fever isn't the problem. It's the underlying disease process that you have to find. And if you shut off a warning sign, you're ultimately shutting off your body's health system. You would never put duct tape over a check engine light or your warning sign that there was a problem with your car. You would never walk into a burning building and just cut the fire alarm and walk out like everything's okay. You would find the fire. You would find the problem that caused the warning light to go off. You would find the fire and then extinguish the fire. The fire is somewhere within the 5 essentials. You're lacking something, or you've got too much stress on your nervous system that needs to be dealt with chiropractic care. Right. Through this time, it's very important to stay anchored with your health and within the 5 essentials. Develop better routines, spend time with your family, shut off the TV, get off the computer screen, aside from your Thursdays with me on virtual workshops and your Tuesdays with the team working out. There's many ways at which we can communicate. You guys know that right now, what we're going to do is we're adjusting through the days. Chiropractic is still considered essential to keep your immune system high and your body healthy. So you can come into the office and get adjusted. I'm also doing virtual contact with patients, so through email, and we're doing Zoom consultations. So if you don't live in Charlotte or you want to go over some of the issues that you've been having in your health and want some action steps individually, we can do a virtual consult right now to help you take steps forward in the 5 essentials until we can get you into the practice and start getting you adjusted. What better time than now to double down on your health? The number one excuse that I see for people not changing their health is that they don't have enough time. And now that excuse isn't valid anymore. You have plenty of time, and now is the time to double down your health. Now is the time to stay connected. Now is the time to be pouring health into your spirit, and not fear and not anxiety. Stay connected to us through Facebook, by coming into the office. We have lots of different ways that you can get in contact with us, because technology is great right now. I am here for you. I'm still your doctor. That does not change through this season. That won't change for the years to come. Keep getting adjusted. Keep doing your home care. If you are not a patient in the office, the best thing to do is get an evaluation in the office, and come in and get your spine and your nervous system evaluated. The second best thing that you can do right now in the meantime is a virtual consult. If you really want to start working on your health, you know you have time, but you need the action steps. Please contact the office. I'm going to write it in the comments. You can text or call the office. It's 980-245-2852, and we can work on whatever concern that you have in your health right now, virtually or in person. The option is yours. With that, we are done for the night. If you have a certain question, please type it in the comments. If you would like to see me do a workshop on gut health, fasting, juicing, you name it, we're going to be doing virtual workshops every single Thursday at 6:30 that last about an hour. So I would love to hear what you would like to know about the human body and would like to learn more about. That's what I want to do a workshop on. I've done thousands of different workshops on hormones and health and men's health and women's health and family's health and children's health. You name it, I've done a workshop on it. So I would love to hear where you are at and what need that you need filled during this time. And do a workshop on that. We'll be live Tuesday at 1:30 and then Thursday at 6:30. Thank you for everybody that stuck around. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out. I will give my email address also, with any specific questions that you might have about you or your family during this time. It is a blessing to be your chiropractor. Go pour some good stuff into your spirit tonight and have a great time with your families. I'll see you in the office.